your daily weather briefing with Chief Meteorologist Sam Layton.
Good evening, friends. Thanks for watching the National Storm Channel. Hope you're having a pleasant weekend across northeastern Oklahoma. It was a little bit hot out there, and right now we have one thunder shower to talk about. It's way down in southeastern Oklahoma, moving from northern McCurtain County, clipping the extreme northeastern corner of Pushmataha County, down and south of Tallahena, there in southern Little Florida County. You can see in the last few frames it is starting to die out just a little bit as it moves towards Alboyne, just to the south of Tallahena. And that's about it. Nothing really else going on across our area right now, and we expect that to continue for at least the next several days. Lows this morning were pretty pleasant across the area. A lot of 60s on the map. 63 down in Worcester this morning, so a very pleasant morning for them. 67 in Eufaula and Okemah. 65 in Okmulgee. Also up to the north, it was in the 60s in Kay County or northwestern Osage County. Meanwhile, here in Tulsa, we dropped down to a low of around 70 degrees. 70 also down in Weber's Falls, and 71 over there in Cookson. Also western Oklahoma, pretty much the same thing. A lot of upper 60s to around 70 degrees for the morning lows. And then this afternoon, we warmed up pretty nicely. We saw temperatures in the lower 90s in a lot of places. Mid 90s here in Tulsa with 94 for our high. Upper 90s in southeastern Oklahoma. 99 in Tallahena. 97 in Clayton. 96 in Wilburton. So pretty toasty day down there. And down in southeastern Oklahoma in McCurtain County, they also reached almost to 100 degrees. And look at this, it's already mid-September. These 100s are supposed to go away by now, but summer is definitely holding on for at least a little bit longer. But there is some hope on the horizon, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. The maximum heat indexes today were pretty downright miserable. 104 in Weber's Falls is what it felt like today. Also in Tallahena, down in Mount Herman, 104 as well. 102 in Bigsby, as well as Bristow. 101 in Oilton. 100 at the Mesonet site in Tulsa. 101 over there in Pryor. Even up in Osage County, it felt like 97 up in 4 Acre, as well as Miami, and over there in Jay. The cool spot, if you want to call it that, Westville, is where it felt like 96 this afternoon. But out in western Oklahoma, it felt like it was in the lower 90s, so they felt a little bit better. And check out Kenton, way on the Panhandle. 85 is what it felt like this afternoon out there. And that's because they have much lower dew points. Temperatures right now, though, are still in the 70s for the most part across northeastern Oklahoma, with a few exceptions like Tulsa with 81, also 83 down in Tallahena on top of the hill there. 76 degrees, though, down in Worcester. 72 in Tahlequah, feeling pretty nice there, and 71 right now in Cookson. Meanwhile, out in Buffalo, it's still feeling, or it's actually 81 degrees there, and also down in Grainfield, one of the perennial hot spots across the state. Temperatures are looking like in the upper 60s to around 70 degrees as far as the dew points. You can see the moisture is still pretty much in place across northeastern Oklahoma. And until we get some drier air in here, we are not going to be dropping below these dew points. So 71 right now in Tulsa, 75 in Bigsby, 72 in Eufaula. Of course, a little bit drier off towards the west in western Oklahoma, where dew points are in the 60s, also in the 50s out in the Panhandle area, where it's 51 in Boise City right now, and 51 also way out there in the Panhandle in Kenton. Satellite view shows pretty interesting thing going on here. You can kind of see on the low-level flow, see the notice the cumulus clouds kind of curving here. See how there's bend here? That's an area of high pressure aloft. And so as long as we're under this ridge of high pressure, we're going to continue to stay warm and humid and above normal. And you can see that there's that one lone thunder shower popping up there at the very end underneath that ridge. You can also see some clouds out towards the west, so there is thicker moisture out here, and this is slowly but surely inching its way our direction. And you can also see some thunderstorms in the northern Gulf of Mexico, and that's in association with a low pressure system that's trying to get a little bit better developed down in the Gulf. And we'll talk more about that in our tropical segment. Lows tonight, though, are going to be pretty pleasant across the area, with lows in the lower 70s, 72 in Tulsa and in Muskogee, also in Tahlequah, 75 in Tallahena. Upper 60s, I think, will be staying up towards the north and east in places like Grove, Miami, and Coffeyville. Then tomorrow, highs once again in the lower 90s, except upper 90s down to the south in places like Tallahena and in Podo, with 97 and 98 there, 93 in Seminole and Ada, 91 over in Chickasha, as well as Stillwater, Hominy, and Bartlesville. Then tomorrow night, you guessed it, once again, lows in the lower 70s pretty much everywhere, maybe 69 over in Fort Smith, but 75 in Talihina, 72 right here in T-Town, as well as the state capital. And if we take a look at the next 7 days, we're going to see 92 tomorrow, 92 on Tuesday, 91 on Wednesday, 90 on Thursday. So we start a slow decline as we head through the work week, but still well above normal for this time of year. So it's definitely going to feel like summer out there. Then on Thursday, a 30% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon, and also on Friday, and a better chance of storms on Saturday, especially Saturday night into Sunday morning is when I think we have a better chance of storms. And some of those storms could be severe, a high of 85 and then a high of 84 on your Sunday. And if we take a look at this is a new segment that I'm going to be beginning here. It's called the Extended Outlook. So that was week 1. This is week 2. As we head into Monday of next week, 60% chance of thunderstorms late Monday. And then I think that's when we're finally going to see a real significant fall-like cold front move through with winds out of the northwest on Tuesday and a high of only 79. And that'll feel pretty good with a 30% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Then on Wednesday, some wraparound clouds as a big low pressure system takes shape over the central plains and a 30% chance of showers, mainly to the north and east. So it'll be kind of a cool day on that Wednesday with a high of 76. And then on Thursday, 78, Friday, 77, as well as Saturday, and then another chance of thunderstorms late Sunday into early Monday with a high of only 76. So all we got to do is just get past next Monday, and then I think we're going to start to see more fall-like temperatures as we head through the extended period and we start into fall. All right, here's a look at the lake levels. Right now, they're looking pretty good. Not too many problems out there. Fort Gibson's still kind of high at 8.1. All the other lakes are generally right around normal or slightly above. Thunderbird right now is slightly below normal, as well as Stockton, but everywhere else is right at or just slightly above normal, with Eufaula checking in at only 0.3 feet above normal right now. And if we look at the period from the 23rd through the 29th of September, still slightly above normal as far as temperatures, way above normal down in Alabama and in Georgia. And if we look at the precipitation, we're expecting generally right around normal precip amounts across most of the south central United States, a little bit drier down towards the south and east. All right, let's take a look at the tropics because it's starting to heat up once again, and we'll have more details on that in just a second. All right, welcome to the tropical segment where we're going to be talking about all things tropic. And right now, we are watching on radar out of Jacksonville, Florida, the eye of Humberto, which has formed in the Atlantic Ocean as expected. The good news is Humberto has not really impacted the United States except for a little bit of high surf along the eastern seaboard in the southeast. There are a few showers starting to approach the coast now, but that's about it with Humberto. Humberto is not really expected to impact us all that much. In fact, it's expected to start accelerating further towards the east out into the Atlantic. And here's the Hurricane Center outlook. Here's Humberto that we're watching, but then there's two other areas that we're monitoring as well. An area of low pressure in the central North Gulf of Mexico, and then another area out in the central Atlantic. And this one has actually a better chance of actually developing into something. So that's marked here in the red as we continue to watch the central Atlantic. And but first, let's look in a wider view and show you what's going on. Here's Humberto spinning very counterclockwise here on the satellite view. Here's some more storms approaching the windwards right now. Then there's that wave in the central Atlantic, and then another wave coming off of Africa. So there's several areas that we're watching, but of course we're watching Humberto more closely, and of course this area here, and then also in the Gulf of Mexico. Let's zoom in and show you a little bit closer view of what's going on in the northern Gulf of Mexico, because that could have an impact on Oklahoma. You can see that right now there's just some convection developing here in the Gulf of Mexico. Nothing really significant at this point. If this continues to drift towards the west, hopefully it will come ashore in Texas and not even turn into a named system. That's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that this continues to develop rapidly. Convection forms around the center, surface pressures drop, and we end up with a named system. But right now, hopefully this is just going to continue to drift off towards the west and not really become anything significant. However, here's Humberto, and wow, you can really see an eye developing here on the satellite view. The convection starting to wrap around the center or the central dense overcast. And you can see very nice outflow aloft. You can see the cirrus clouds kind of spinning clockwise in the upper levels. And then at the lower levels, the spinning in towards the center. And as long as there's convection developing around the center, this thing will continue to strengthen as the surface pressures drop. So we're going to watch Umberto very closely. In fact, here's a look at the computer model guidance. Look at how tightly clustered this is. You can see that the forecasts are pretty much in agreement all the way up to 96 hours, and then they start to diverge a little bit beyond 96 hours. But until then, it's expected to continue to accelerate off towards the north and east, away from the United States, and perhaps brushing very, very close to Bermuda. So the folks in Bermuda are really going to pay attention, because in about 72 to 84 hours, that's when Umberto is going to be in that general vicinity, and that could cause some problems there. But that's about it as far as that goes. Here's the intensity forecast. In that same period, we're expecting intensification to continue, perhaps even up to category 3, before it starts falling off, running into colder water in the Atlantic, and starts to dissipate or weaken as it moves up towards the north central Atlantic. Now, here's the official hurricane forecast from the Hurricane Center. Here's at 11 o'clock. You can still see it's expected to be maintain itself as a hurricane all the way until Thursday evening, and then transitions to a tropical storm by 8 p.m. Friday. So between Thursday and Friday, it begins to weaken pretty significantly as it moves over colder water. But notice it's going to be coming very, very close to Bermuda. So interests in Bermuda are going to have to watch Umberto very, very, very closely. All right, here's a look at the intensity and the forecast model tracks on that system out in the central Atlantic. You can see that the model guidance pretty much takes us to the north and west. Most of the models miss the islands. Hopefully that will continue, because that'd be nice if this missed the islands. And then, of course, hopefully it will then curve out in the Atlantic and not affect anything. But right now, this is the current guidance, and we don't expect anything significant at this point in time. However, looking at the intensity forecast, that's a different story. For the next day or so, it's expected to remain a tropical or below tropical storm. Then it becomes a tropical storm. Then it intensifies, and you can see some of these models intensify it rapidly up to category 4. But most of the model guys take it up to about a category 1, maybe a category 2. So we're going to have to watch this as it moves closer and closer to those islands down in the Caribbean Sea, as it could be a major system to be dealt with. But we still have plenty of time to look at it. And of course, this is all speculation at this point, but that's the current computer model thinking. All right, that's a look at the forecast. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 o'clock with a complete update on your local forecast, as well as the tropics as well. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We hope you have a great evening, and have a good night.
Oklahoma weather. We know it can change in an instant. Get your weather from a real Oklahoma weather authority. Sam Lane is a third-generation Oklahoman. Like and share us on Facebook and on Twitter. All weather, all Oklahoman. Sam Lane is Oklahoma's weather authority.